everyone, this is Milton Herring, Comp Health National Account Team. I've been with the company about 7 years, and today I want to just kind of jump in your life and talk to you about how to start a conversation with the black person. If you follow me on social media anywhere, you know that I like to be fun and inspiring at the same time and drop a little comedy and humor, but also hopefully leave you with some encouragement and inspiration at the end. Now, there's a lot of things that we can go through and a lot of things we can talk about, especially when we're talking about the consistency of valuing life, black lives, and everyone in between. And we want to talk today about some of my history, my upbringing, and how the conversation goes and how the best to get this conversation started. Because I believe if we can communicate, there's a lot of chasms and bridges we can cross. But if we don't start the conversation, we'll never get to a conclusion. And so I wanted to encourage you today. But if you know me, here we go. Hey, is that your real hair? Can I touch it? Yes and no. Hey, you play basketball, huh? Polo. No basketball. Polo. Hey, you look like you rap. You rap? Are you a rapper? Play the accordion. Hey, you like fried chicken? You like some fried chicken? You know what? I'm allergic to fried chicken. No, I'm just playing. I love some fried chicken, man. I love me some fried chicken. Hey, so I just wanted to share some of the things that I get asked over the years, and there's a ton more. I just wanted to make light of that. But these are questions that, you know what, don't really come off very well in starting the conversation. Those are some ways not to do things in starting the conversation because they just don't go. And a lot of times they're offensive for sure. But we really do want to start this conversation, and to be really serious about this, starting the conversation really means one thing, that you're willing to hear and allow the other person to be heard. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. And I believe if we come to the understanding that we can listen twice as much as we speak, we'll get a long ways. And understanding this divide in our this racial divide, this social injustice divide, we'll understand a lot more. Be willing to listen, but starting the conversation is as simply as this: where are you from? Where were you born? Not oh, what country are you from? where are you from? Where are you born? Were you born around here? Are you raised? Asking someone where they're from, where they're born, helps you start the conversation. Because if, for myself, I was born in Atlanta. My father was military and retired military, Air Force and the U.S. Army. Also, he was a pastor of a church. And so understanding that I'm from the South and I'm raised by a father that was very conservative and very, strict on how he raised his sons, that's my upbringing. And understanding that gives you more context, because if you can start the conversation, you create context. And what context allows you to place yourself in that other person's shoes, especially a black person. A black man is myself. We want to be heard. We want to be understood. And here, even if you want to get to the tougher questions as you continue to learn and uncover who we are, were you living in areas where you weren't treated the best? Yes. I remember living in the Midwest, and that was part of some of the hardest times growing up in my middle school and high school years before I moved out west to the West Coast. Lived in several different areas, and living in the Midwest was probably one of the most racially divided places that I felt in my life to live. I didn't feel it in the South. I didn't feel it on the West Coast, but I felt it in the Midwest a lot. And maybe it was the time in my upbringing, but that's where I had the most challenges of being racially profiled, being bullied because of my color, my skin. But these are just some of the things that's a question you can ask, and I'm willing to share, and others are willing to share. Starting that conversation. But also, hey, what are some of your likes and dislikes? And allowing that to be shared. And a lot of times, you might have to pull that out of someone that's of color. But asking the question allows that person to know that you're willing to listen. And if you're willing to listen, now then you're willing to learn. If you're willing to learn, that means that there's a lesson that's coming along with this for both of you, for the person of color and for yourself. And we're all doing our responsibility jobs. Yes, are we still dealing with racism today in our country? Yes, we are. Is it different than it was 100 years ago, 150 years ago? I believe it is. But it's still there. And we want to acknowledge it, because if we can acknowledge it, that's how we can start the healing process. And not that you are, or the person that you hang out with is, but understanding that it still does exist. And I hope that we all work to be a part of the solution and not continue to perpetuate the problem. And so this is my encouragement, I guess, for you today, is to starting that conversation with a man, a woman of color, a black man, a black woman, really does help in bridging that gap and divide. Because if we can start the conversation, we can communicate. And if we can communicate, we can learn again. And if we can learn about each other and understand each other, there's a lesson that is in there that can allow us to live in a better place and build a better culture for everyone involved. And so I want to encourage you guys today with that. Thanks for allowing me to kind of creep into your life just for a few minutes and to say, you know what? Let's work together. Let's start this conversation and let's be part of the solution. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.